Hello and good morning, good afternoon. We are very excited to have you join us today for this Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Instagram, wherever you are. Today's event is a very special event, a special social media live. To give you the purpose of today's session is twofold actually. One is to give you tremendous value from all three of us, and we're going to go into the introductions very soon, but the purpose is to give you value. So if you're joining us, welcome to this live session, and we're going to start with the introductions. And the second purpose is to share this the questions that come across our table from day to day. And there is always some form of confusion, there is some form of doubt that people have in their minds, especially first time home buyers. And we are going to dive into some of those questions that we get from our audience, from our clients, so that will help you to answer those, even if you don't have the understanding of that's the question that you had in your mind. Okay, so you'll just gain more clarity on you in making these decisions. So let's get started. So let's start with a brief introduction. So Sukhada, why don't you start with your introduction?
For sure. Thank you, Amit. My name is Sukhada Gangar, and I'm a real estate lawyer. After working professionally for more than 15 years, and then being a first-time home buyer myself, from there to being an investor now, being a business owner, and now a lawyer, and having worked in this real estate field, I just realized that there's so much more that we can do for our clients. And that's where my legal firm was born. It's called Probity Legal Professional Corporation, where our utmost importance is given to client servicing, answering their queries, and that's why I'm here as well. I absolutely love working with first time home buyers because I see myself in them, right? Where
Right.
I was a couple of years back, those questions, those anxieties. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here, and of course with you two who are experts in your own fields. So thank you.
Thank you. That's a great introduction. Thank you, Sukhada. Okay, what about you, Richie?
Yeah, thank you, Amit bhai. So I'm a mortgage agent working with Diverse Mortgage Group. Um, I've worked in the corporate world for the last decade or more. So my background is basically I have an engineering degree, an MBA. I have owned a business, but for the last 7 years, I was working with the corporate corporate world, and I joined mortgages much like Sukada because of my own experience as a first-time home buyer and then a repeat home buyer. There was so much more that I feel that I needed to know before making that call. And now that I'm at in the field, I believe I can add value and I can really help first-time home buyers make that choice for them as well. So I'm super excited to collaborate with both of you as well, and looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So, my name is Amit Ambegaonkar. I am a real estate agent, and I really help people through education about how to buy real estate correctly. What are the tricks? What are the things that you must know in order for you to make the right decision? And this I've been doing for a while. I started with, of course, my personal residences, but I've done a lot of investments too, different type of commercial and multiplexes. And then I realized that the knowledge that I've gained through this experience is definitely worth sharing. And that's how this field was sort of born for me, in terms of educating people on making the right choices. So working with first-time homebuyers is definitely one of my passion, one of my desire. Why I am in real estate is to see that smile, right? At the end of the transaction. It's really it's very nice to see that our services have helped someone to get into the home of their choice. So that's why we are here. Now if you're joining this live, you're going to get tons of value. We're going to go for about 20 to 30 minutes, and in the meantime, while you're watching, if you have questions for us, please make sure that you put it in the chat. We will probably answer it during the session, or we'll definitely come back to this and answer your question for you. Also, I wanted to mention that we are doing this on social media live today. But if you want to meet us in person, we're actually coming up with an event. We're going to do a live in-person event in Mississauga, and you have the opportunity to join that event on 13th of July. It's going to be in Right at Home Realty. Make sure that you mark that date. July 13th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And those details are coming up very, very soon for you. So today's live session, we're going to go individually in sharing value, what we offer in terms of our expertise. And in this conversation, of course, you're going to get some nuggets. So make sure that you are attentively listening. And if something that you don't understand, make sure you ask us or put it in the chat so we can come back to it. All right, good. So whom should we start with? Richie, Sukhada, or me? Where who wants to start with?
Maybe we can go in the flow. Amit, you start first.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Sounds good. So I'll definitely share my, some things that will benefit the listener. If you're a first-time home buyer, something that you must understand from me as a realtor uh, is knowing what you need. And when I start working with the client, I really get into this conversation about what you actually need and what do you want, because a lot of people are not clear on their needs and wants until they have this conversation. They're sometimes not even clear on whether they want a townhome, whether they want a semi, a detached, or a condo. And that's a good point. That's fine. That's good to start with. But as we dive into details about what they actually need and what they would like to have, there sometimes is a gap. And our job is to sort of fill that gap, looking at the entire situation and helping you figure out what's the best situation for you. We have many tools that I use to make that decision easier for you. And one of the tool is something that we look at different parameters to make a decision whether you're looking for a location is your priority, pricing is your priority, lifestyle is your priority, schools are your priority. Based on that, then we will come up with the solution for you that will make it much easier for you to select which type of house you should buy, which neighborhood you should buy. And of course, given in the current market, and I'm sure Richie, you will talk about that with all these changes that are happening. At the same time, the legal aspect of it, making sure that you're doing all the right things so that you don't fall into any of the mistakes that might happen as a first time home buyer. We're taking care of that for you so that you're making the right decisions. So my role really is to help you, first of all, figure out what works best for you, what is in your best interest, and then help you get that property, not just in terms of best price, but also the terms and conditions that go along with the offer. And in this particular event that we are going to do on July 13th, I have the entire process figured out for you, especially for a first time home buyer. What are the steps and what are the sequence that is required for you in order to make that successful purchase? Now, bear in mind, some people already know the steps, but if you miss the sequence, if you do, step number 5 before step number 3, you will see that, people will get stuck at the end of the deal and there might be some problems. So if you understand the process very well, if you follow through this step-by-step process that I have designed, you will see your success will be much, much higher than if you are, sort of randomly going about looking for a property. So I'm definitely, open for questions. If you have any, put them in the chat. I'll definitely come back and answer them for you. But I will let Sukhada or Richie continue on your expertise and offer some nuggets to our audience today.
I can go next if you don't mind, Sukada.
Please go ahead.
So, because it's very, very germane to what you just spoke about. So, real estate and mortgages are basically two sides of the same coin. When you buy a property, you're going to need funds, and that's where I come in the picture. And just like Amit said, there are several factors or parameters that you have to figure out on the real estate side. Similarly, on the mortgage side, you have plenty of options. It's not a clear cut 1, 2, 3. So, my job as a mortgage agent is to be able to guide you based on your unique circumstances, what is the right product for you and what can we expect. So just to give you a brief of where we fit in before you even place an offer. So you meet Amit will tell you, what is the best possible situation, best possible real estate for you. But before placing the offer, at that stage, a mortgage agent like myself will help you get pre-qualified. And getting pre-qualified is one of the most essential things in the process because that helps you, one, gives you a peace of mind. So what is pre-qualification? You are asking the bank to commit to a rate that they will hold to or honor for the next 90 days. So the bank, as you know, the rates have been fluctuating, they keep on changing. every week, every month. When a bank says that they will offer you X rate, they will have to abide by it, even if the rates go up. But on the flip
Mhm.
side, if the rates go down, that is where we are able to renegotiate and get those lower rates for you. So getting pre-qualified doesn't mean you're stuck with the rate. It just means you're hedging your rate uncertainty by making sure you cap that as a best rate. And then if something is lower on offer before closing, even if it's one day before closing, we will get you that rate and you will be in a much better spot. So getting pre-qualified, number one. Just a few things, because the topic of today's seminar was, five major mistakes that first-time home buyers make. There are a few points that come to my mind from a mortgage lens when it comes to first-time home buyers. Number one is people don't get pre-qualified, and that's when they have to struggle because they have placed an offer and they don't know if they can actually make it happen. That's the first step. Another one that I see is you focus too much on the house and not the neighborhood. That is one that I made when I was going to, rather. Fortunately, I was guided by great people and great realtors. This is where realtors are invaluable, and having someone like Amit in your back pocket is going to completely change your game, because you might love a property that looks beautiful, but if the neighborhood is not to your liking, that has major repercussions as to what schools your kids will go to and everything else that comes along with it. So that is very important as well. Another major thing is, as first-time home buyers, people don't realize how much the government is offering in terms of incentives. There are several first-time home buyer programs that I think everybody should be aware of. And Amit Bhai, being an expert here, and myself can guide you and make sure you avail all the benefits that the government is able to offer before you place an offer. Um, Another couple of quick things that I can just quickly mention are, we don't just look at what you want to buy. We work with your entire monthly budget to make sure you don't buy more than what you can afford. It might look great that $1 million property is beautiful for you, but the problem is if your daily expenses are not in line, it might not be the best decision for you. So me as a mortgage agent will be looking at your monthly budget and making sure that what you buy is what you can afford with ease, or we have the discussion about changing some things about your daily spending habits to be able to make that happen. And lastly is closing costs. And Amit can tell you more about that as well, along with Sukhada. This is everybody's forte. Closing costs are definitely to be considered. That ranges from about 1.5% to 4%, depending on what you do of your purchase value. And if you don't factor for those, you might be scrambling for money at the very end, asking uncle, aunt, and dad for that little bit of money that you will need to make sure you close your house. To avoid all that hassle, you have to get in touch with all of us, and we will be able to help you get smooth sail to have a smooth sailing towards buying your property. So over to you,
Amazing.
Sukadai.
Thank you. Great insights by both of you. So as you know, Amit and Richie have been saying. So Amit covered the emotional part of buying a house, and Richie covered the financial part of buying a house. I come in to protect that both, right? So I make sure as a lawyer that we know what we are buying into. We'll try to find out if there are any hidden skeletons in the closets, in the form of liens, encumbrances. There have been cases where the seller was not actually the owner who was selling the property.
Mhm.
So a lawyer's role is to make sure that what is on the agreement, what the buyer and seller have signed, is what the buyer is getting at the end of the day. Right now, it involves a lot of processes, a lot of steps that we as a lawyer go through, and ultimately, people look at the cost, the legal cost, but in the hindsight, you two have been investors, and for a long time, you realize that that was just a small part of buying that peace, of buying that good sleep at night.
100%. Yeah.
um, and the pitfalls that I would say, that people think of buying a house. It's like, oh, we start going and looking at houses, but the pitfalls that I would say is, again, as Richie said, not knowing the neighborhood, not
Yeah.
knowing what exactly their needs are. Sometimes we are too narrow visioned. We think of what we currently need and not what we want in the long term. So there are times when you get into rushed deals. You don't really look into the contract that you're signing, or there are clauses that should be included in the contract that will save you. For example, in the given market where, maybe in the last 6 months where we saw the mortgage rates going up and down, the eligibility of people moving up and down. So there
Mhm.
could be just a simple clause in the contract which says that you could add someone as a buyer at the closing, which just makes sure that the deal doesn't fall apart, right? You could add maybe your father, your mother, so that, and the percentages could vary. You could just give them 1% on the title, but when it comes to the mortgages, your deal goes through. So a simple step, like, when before you sign that contract and send it across to the seller, just have a lawyer to look at it. Just, take, just quickly glance and let you know what could be added, what could not be added, right? So again, and this is something I've learned in life. Having a mentor in whatever area you're working in, it really helps you. I mean, if I wish when I was a first-time buyer, I had a team like this who would guide me in every stage, in every step of the way. And again, it's not like Amit's role comes first and Richie's comes second and Sukhada's comes third. I think we are all together in this. Sometimes someone comes first, sometimes someone comes second. So I would say this seminar it's going to be great for all the first time home buyers in getting the big picture and understanding what the full process is and how you can get the best out of it.
Excellent, excellent. That is so true. That is so true. And
Yeah.
Sudha, I like the point that you mentioned that the starting point for different people might be different. Because it has happened so many times in our businesses that people, have approached me first, thinking that they should talk to me first before they get started. But I cannot get started with them unless they have a pre-approval. I don't. Do you know the amount that you qualify for? Because I don't want to show them a house that is 800 or $1 million, and they're falling in love with that house, right?
Absolutely.
And then finding out that, oh, we don't qualify for that house. I don't want them to go through that process. It's not really the right approach. So it's always good to follow the right sequence. Even legal. I mean, the things that you mentioned about deeds, about having that clause in there to add a special buyer if need be. I mean, these are such crucial points that a novice or even majority of the layman people will not know about these, and it's our responsibility to educate them about this and make sure that they follow through with that. So incredible, incredible. Thank you. I just cannot
Super.
wait for all the nuggets that are going to come through in our seminar on the 13th. So that's great. Yes, Richie, you were saying something?
No, that's just from personal experience of dealing with lawyers. The cost is minuscule, like Sukhada said, compared to the overall transaction value. But the peace of mind you get by dealing with a good lawyer, like Sukhada, is incomparable. Because then
Absolutely.
because with in this environment we hear about so many frauds, so many issues happening. You want to cover yourself, and a good lawyer will be able to cover all those bases for you. And lenders obviously need a lawyer to be part of the whole transactions in many cases. So it's not like you have, it's an absolute slam dunk. You have to go with a
Yeah.
good lawyer for sure.
I think one of the things that people need to understand that our work, and even for you, Sukada, even for you, there is so much work that goes on at the background, right?
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
we still have,
Yes.
when we face the audience, there is only so much interaction that we have with the actual client, but there is
Yes.
so much homework, so much research that goes on behind the stage. When
Yeah.
we come to the client, we're just sort of telling them what they should know about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are like the glaciers.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right?
exactly, exactly. So true. And that's what, even for lawyers, I mean, I've seen, that. In fact, when I bought my first property, which was years ago, we did not have that much interaction with the lawyer. Lawyer was this one person who just sits in their office, and we probably get some things to sign from them, and that's it. So that's why an opportunity like this, like even this live or this in-person event where they get to meet us and ask us these questions, whatever they want in a group setting, is so valuable. And I'm so happy that we're doing this together in order to offer that value to our attendees.
Totally
Absolutely,
agree.
absolutely agree. I had a very similar experience when I first bought my house. with a lawyer, wherein just before the closing, we were called to the office, given a bunch
Yeah.
of papers to sign. When we tried to ask questions, we were told you're taking too much time, and we were taken aback that like that's not service industry. Then maybe we are dealing with a product here.
True.
So yeah, I mean, and so I make sure that I communicate with my clients at every step. They know what's going on in their transaction, and I as a viewer, I would say right now what we are trying to communicate is we don't look at clients as just a transaction, right? We understand them, we connect with them at an emotional level, and then we take it the next step, right? It's not just, oh, you're a number client, you're a numbered file in my laptop.
That's so true. That's so true. And even for me as a realtor, like people generally would contact a realtor when they want to buy a house, right? And my education, or whenever I'm doing other social media platforms and promotions, I'm always saying that not necessarily true, right? You can get in touch with me if you plan to buy a house, 6 months, 3 months, 1 year, 2 years from now, right? Because there is so many things that you need to do before, like for example, down payment, how much do I need to have, which areas are good for me, where should I at least plan to buy, all those conversations. The sooner you have those conversations, the more prepared you're going to be when you're actually ready, right?
Absolutely.
So definitely don't wait. Like these are the professionals that are ready to help you, that are willing to share their expertise. So definitely waiting is not the right thing to do. Asking questions is really the way to go. So
Absolutely. And to the same point, Amit and Sukada, one thing people don't really understand much, or it's too late by the time they understand something, is credit.
mhm.
So, along with down payment, they also have to make sure their credit score is a certain level for them to qualify.
Yeah,
And working with Amit, me, Sukada, like me in particular, being in the mortgage world, we can give you tips and tricks to make sure your credit score is where it needs to be when you try to apply for a mortgage. So there's no hidden surprises. Oh, everything is great, but your credit is a little low by 5 points or so, and then we are scrambling to get it up. So
yes.
it's always a good idea to correct it
That's
upfront.
so true. That's so true. Because you can look at their credit score today and you also have an idea that, this is what their credit score should look like and how to get there, right?
100%.
So definitely that's a pathway that you're leading, not just because, you want the sale or you want them to buy right now. That's not the context.
No,
But you see,
it's a,
sure, go ahead.
yeah, it's genuinely helping somebody to no matter what they decide to do. It's free advice and help that we enjoy giving you, and then you should be taking it from us as well, so that you can be protected and buy the property of your dreams.
Absolutely. Absolutely, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Good, good. So we'll just review the event that is coming up. I'm really, really excited about the event. If you got some nuggets, if you got some value from today's live, just imagine what you're going to get when we're meeting for 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon, just sharing some PowerPoint presentations, giving you some handouts for you to take away. It's just going to be incredible value. So let me share the event details, and maybe one of you can talk about it. Here, here are the details. So Richie, you want to talk about the event?
Sure. So this event is on July 13th between 2 to 4 p.m. and is being held at the real estate office in Mississauga. This is going to be a power packed event, which basically we just touched the surface right now, but we're going to talk in detail about the entire home buying process. We will talk about all the mortgage concepts. So, all of your questions about whether you should go with fixed or variable, um, and many other questions. And we'll also be covering the legal side of things with Sukada. So, it's a complete package for you as a first time home buyer to know everything from the real estate angle. Um, and that's pretty much going to be the focus. And we also have food, snacks, and we have a couple of giveaways as well that I'll let maybe Sukada mention. But it's going to be a great event for first-time home buyers where everybody can learn a lot from the three of us.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Hey, we have to decide about the food part of it. Okay,
Exactly.
we'll chat about it after today's live. Okay, good. So Sukada, anything you want to emphasize about the event?
So as I've been saying, I think this is like either you go back to college days and think about self study or going to a professor who's going to tell you step by step and guide you through the process, right? I know self-study can be exciting, but you're just lost in the woods at times, right? So and why reinvent the wheel when
Mm.
when it's invented by someone already?
So
So
true.
I think it's a great event. Just sit down, just sit there, listen, take in, think about things, and we are not saying that after that event we are just going to disappear. So even after the event, if you still have questions, we are going to be around, just a call or an email away. But make sure you're there, you're present there, and making the best out of it. And the giveaways. So we have 2 Amazon gift cards that we are looking to give away at the event. So excited. I'm excited about the food as well.
Yeah, me
Yes.
too.
That's awesome. And I've done a couple of events like this, and what I find is, in this type of a setup, first time home buyers that would come in may not have a question in mind when they're listening to one of us speak, but there might be the person sitting next would ask that question, and they're like, oh my God, I had a similar question, right? Oh, and they're listening to the answers. That's the beauty of working in a group environment, in a group setting, because otherwise you only have the questions that are going on in your mind, but you sometimes forget that that information piece is also important for you to understand. So it really works well. Sometimes questions come up, and based on that you might have your question come up. So it's really a nice environment. We are going to make it really interactive. It's not like you're going to sit in a chair and we're just going to talk about our concepts. No, it's going to be very interactive. So make sure that you come to the event. Register right now because seats have started to fill up. This is the website that you go to, bit.ly/13JUL seminar. Okay, it is on the screen right now. It will also be in the post. So make sure you click and you link. It's a free event. Did we mention free?
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
So it is definitely a free event. You can come by for 2 hours, enjoy the talk, enjoy the Q&As that will happen, and I'm sure you'll get tons and tons of value from it. All right. So thank you so much for joining today, Sukhada. Thank you so much, Richie, for your time. And definitely in today's live also, we shared something valuable that I'm sure people could take away. So any last minute thoughts before we close our session today? We'll go with ladies first this time.
Last thoughts are just, see you on Saturday.
Yes, exactly. That's it. That's a mic drop. Absolutely. Perfect. Richie, anything from you?
No, I mean, I'm super excited. And the fact is, the more confidence you have while buying, the smoother your process is going to be and the more happy you will be at the end of the day. So we are here to provide you the confidence that you need to go and buy it. You already know things. We are there to boost your confidence as well.
Very nice. Very
Well
nice.
said.
Amazing. Amazing. Yes. And the opportunity to meet three professionals at the same time, I think, is where our value really multiplies threefold and tenfold. Because all three of us, you may have a question that, sometimes talking to me, I would say, oh, that is a question for a mortgage broker or a lawyer. But guess what? They're right here in the room with us who can answer that question. So, really, an incredible opportunity for you. Make sure that you come attend the event. Get in touch with any of us if you're not able to make to the event but still have questions for us. All our contact information is also going to be on the post. If you reach out to any of us, we can share our contact information. But we're really looking forward to you coming to the event and joining us at the seminar on July 13th at 2 p.m. Thank you so much and enjoyed our time together here. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Sukada. Bye, Ruchi.